Shoplifters went out as a local business decides to close its doors after a violent attack and ongoing theft. It is our top story right here on the WHAS11 Night Team. Hi, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt. Video shows them pushing right through the doors at the beloved Crystal's Bargain Outlet in the Portland neighborhood. WHAS11 Night Team's Taylor Woods and photojournalist Elijah Woods talked to former employees and customers who are devastated about the store closing.
With no warning or notice, employees at Crystal's Bargain Outlet in the Portland neighborhood were told through text the store is closed for good after 10 years gone.
The company informed us, that we were closed indefinitely.
Desiree Hunt was the store's most recent general manager. She says Saturday's violent incidents are some of the reasons why the owner, Crystal Hudson, decided to close her doors. There were two shoplifters who didn't want to leave.
When they decided to finally leave, they turned around and then assaulted my employee.
Surveillance video captures them coming back 2 hours later with a group of people right before the store closed at 5 o'clock, trying to shove their way through the doors.
Taking away that one place helped people who can't afford much else. I mean, it's really going to be a blow for the community.
And customers have been walking up only to find out that their favorite store has permanently closed its doors.
I'm devastated. I was about to come in here and get a couple shoes and a couple outfits.
Customers like Scotty Bean have been coming to Crystal's forever. He says it's known as Portland's hidden treasure with the latest sneakers, clothes, furniture, and food.
Yeah, I used to come in here, get all types of deals, get the new J's, new little hats.
Michael Ferguson agrees.
I do a lot of thrift shopping. I've been doing it for the last 2 years. Crystal's was honestly one of my favorite places to come to because of a lot of the things that they had inside.
I contacted the owner, Crystal Hudson. In a statement, she says it was never our intention to close, but due to extreme safety concerns and excessive theft, I had to make this hard decision to permanently close at this location. It wasn't worth risking our employees' and customers' lives any longer. From the bottom of my heart, I am so sorry for how our closure will affect the community. We will miss everyone dearly. In Louisville, Taylor Woods, WHAS11 Night Team on your side.
Louisville Metro Police crime map, by the way, shows a theft was also reported at Crystal's Bargain Outlet earlier this month. Over the last 6 months, the same data shows 3 burglaries and 2 thefts were reported within a block of that store. Community leaders in the Fern Creek area of Louisville are taking steps to increase safety after 79-year-old Betty Collins was found stabbed to death in her home. Metro Council member Stuart Benson says he and his team are helping set up doorbell cameras for residents, many of whom are retired. Benson says they've been walking the streets and helping those who have already purchased the devices.
Sometimes the older you are, computers and stuff are kind of foreign to them still, and so we really want to help them feel comfortable. And really, when you help one person, sometimes they can help another person, and it's a multiplying effect of helping each other and making sure that people feel secure in their neighborhood.
People living in another Fern Creek neighborhood say their homeowners association is also stepping up their community watch and security efforts after the murder. So far, no arrests have been made in that case. All new tonight on the WHAS11 Night Team. The former Metro Council president and current Deputy Mayor David James on the stand tonight in the ethics case of Metro Council member Anthony Piagentini. The removal trial got started this week. WHAS11 Night Team's Alex Dieterer and photojournalist Addie Hill were in the council chambers there. Alex?
This evening, we heard from 3 new witnesses, including Deputy Mayor David James. The evening started off with former council member Bill Hollander taking the stand yet again to be questioned by the council court. And that included a little bit of humor from Chair Pro Tem Rick Blackwell.
And just a reminder that you are under oath, and apparently you have been all night, so I hope you didn't speak in your sleep.
Former Councilman Bill Hollander briefly took the witness stand again tonight to wrap up questioning from the council court. Following him was his former colleague and now Deputy Mayor David James. James was council president back in 2022 and presided over the council meeting where Councilman Anthony Piagentini abstained from voting on an ordinance he co-sponsored. That ordinance allocated $40 million in federal dollars to the same group he accepted a job from within the same month.
Did he tell you that he was taking on a $240,000 consulting contract?
No, ma'am.
Would this have been important information for you and the council to know?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Well, that it could have been a conflict of interest.
James was questioned at length about the correct way to abstain from a vote at the time he was council president. He said council members could abstain on the floor at the council meeting or send an email to the council clerk.
You're also not aware of anyone that disputed the initial way that Councilman Piagentini abstained. Is that correct?
No, sir.
Okay. So everyone in Metro Council at that point who was voting it or was present at that point essentially allowed it to go forward without objection at that time. Is that correct?
That's correct.
James went on to say that during the 13 years he was on Metro Council, if he had a conflict of interest, he stayed out of all discussions on the topic.
If I had a conflict or a perceived conflict, if I felt that someone may think that it's a conflict, I would not talk about it at any point in time.
James himself also did not question Piagentini's abstention at the time because he assumed it was due to his work history in the healthcare sector. He did say that it was usual practice for council members to give reasoning to an abstention that's more detailed than just conflict of interest. Now, throughout the week, we have been hearing from Piagentini's attorneys, and at this point, it seems highly unlikely that we'll hear from Piagentini himself. His attorneys said on Monday, the first day of the trial, that they advised him to assert his Fifth Amendment right and remain silent throughout the trial. Trial will resume on Friday, where we'll bring you all of the new updates. In studio, Alex Dieterer, the WHAS11 night team on your side.
Alex, thank you very much. And now the surprise move on Capitol Hill today as Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell announces he will step down as the Republican leader.
So I stand before you today, Mr. President, and my colleagues to say this will be my last term as Republican leader of the Senate.
The 82-year-old Alabama native who grew up in Louisville is the longest-serving Senate leader in history. In his remarks today, he acknowledged the political times we're in. One key point, by the way, he says he is staying in his Senate seat representing Kentucky. Here's ABC's Jonathan Carl.
The end of an era. Mitch McConnell, the longest-serving Senate leader ever and one of the most influential senators of all time, announced today he'll step down as the Republican leader in November.
Father Time remains undefeated. I'm no longer the young man sitting in the back, hoping colleagues would remember my name. It's time for the next generation of leadership.
McConnell, who turned 82 just last week, has suffered a series of health setbacks. But as he hinted today, his move is as much about politics. He's a man no longer at home in a party dominated by Donald Trump.
Believe me, I know the politics within my party at this particular moment in time. I have many faults. Misunderstanding politics is not one of them.
McConnell and Trump haven't spoken for more than 3 years. McConnell refused to go along with Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election, and he blamed Trump for January 6th.
There's no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day.
And now McConnell finds himself in what could be his final battle against Trump and his acolytes in Congress, fighting to secure funding to help Ukraine defend itself in its war with Russia. But the McConnell legacy is already secure, above all in the conservative supermajority that he helped install at the Supreme Court. President Biden said that he was sorry to hear that McConnell was stepping down, adding, quote, "We fight like hell, but I've trusted him. We've had a great relationship." Jonathan Carl, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Well, Mitch McConnell's announcement came as a shock to many, including his friend and the former Kentucky Republican Party Chairman Mac Brown of Louisville. We did ask him tonight about the senator's impact on the country and the state of Kentucky.
He is the modern Henry Clay. He's been involved in so many things. And then when you talk about what he's done for this state and literally the billions of dollars he's brought here, the infrastructure he's helped rebuild, it's just phenomenal, and every Kentuckian needs to be appreciative of it. Again, not everybody likes him, but they can appreciate what he's done for the state.
And now new tonight, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear also thanking Senator McConnell for his service to the state, and was also asked if he has any plans to run for that Senate seat in 2026.
Work together in disaster response and freeing up federal dollars on all those things that aren't red or blue. We've had a good working relationship with his office.
Will you put your name in the hat for that seat?
No.
No. That's definitive.
That's definitive. I promised to serve out my term as governor, and I'm going to do that.
There you heard it directly from the governor. McConnell has previously said again that he is going to stay in that seat and finish out his term. But by the way, he has not said whether he plans to run for re-election in 2026. New tonight, a major announcement from the U.S. Supreme Court. The justices say they will review former President Donald Trump's claim of presidential immunity against criminal prosecution. The former president is facing federal charges, accused of trying to overturn the results in the 2020 election. The U.S. Supreme Court's announcement follows a lower court decision denying his appeal. That ruling said, quote, former President Trump has become Citizen Trump. Any executive immunity that may have protected him while he served as president no longer protects him against this prosecution, end quote. The High Court will hear arguments the week of April 2nd.